Hi, welcome back. Welcome back to the Doc Review. It is January 18th, 1964. The episode is The Expedition, and the Doctor is a general, apparently. Uh, it's a very, very interesting episode. The great thing that I've found is that, or that I've noticed, at least in this episode, is that the overacting is pretty much non-existent. Overacting, non-existent, pretty much, which is incredible. It's either that, or I've just been sucked into the TV, into the show, and I've gotten used to some sort of things. I've been acclimated to overacting. I don't think I've seen pretty much any overacting or too melodramatic things, which I find incredible and is great in making a believable plot. Now, the only bad thing that I saw was that, well, no, yeah, pretty much the only bad thing is that the overacting has been replaced with a few points of predictability. For instance, last episode, I knew that person was going to die, and this episode, I knew in the very end that the man that was, or the Thal man, the Thal person, I don't know, call him Thal, the Thal that was going to fill up the water buckets or the water bags. I knew he was going to be attacked, either at least attacked, if not killed, by the swamp mutation things, which in my opinion kind of look like those things that popped up in the water in Legend of Zelda, the original game. Not just because of what they look like, but because they created a whirlpool. Uh, and it's a very interesting show. Uh, there's just a lot of stuff going on in this episode. The tension between the threat of bomb, a neutron bomb being used once more on the planet by the Daleks. The actually feeling sorry for the Daleks for a portion of the time when you felt like they were going to die because the anti-radiation drug was poisonous to them. And very sort of you see in 1964, especially the fact that this at least this part, deals with, well, I think the whole episode, the Dalek episode thing, deals with the reality and threat and crisis of nuclear warfare and the sort of aftermath of what could happen. And also with this part especially, came the sort of concept of racial equality and trying to explain the rationality behind hatred. Uh, there's an interesting thing, interesting part, and I mean part as in part of the episode, or episode of the serial, whatever it is. It's an interesting episode because there's a lot of points brought up, and the the great thing about science fiction is that it can take things like that, like racial equality in '64, racial equality, nuclear. Well, yeah, it was around. I mean, there was the equal rights movement going on, but I mean, to go on public TV and talk about things like that, like nuclear war, racial equality, the origin of hatred, and fear of the unlike. Hatred of the unlike, I think that's what they called it. Um, and all these other things. The science fiction community is able to actually talk about those things by placing those sort of topics in another world, putting them in another world, on another planet or another universe, and with other species, and by commenting on the other species in the other world and the other people, other beings, by commenting on the other beings, they're commenting actually on ourselves. They're commenting on us. And it is an incredible thing. I mean, I was pretty much tempted. I was really tempted to actually drop a drop having a sort of witty thing for actually having the speech, the part of the speech that the Thal leader says, because I think it's probably one of the best quotes in the series so far, which isn't very long so far, but still, I think it's one of the best quotes, and I'm going to quote it right here. There's no indignity in being afraid to die, but there is a terrible shame in being afraid to live. And I feel that's just something to sort of learn by and think about. I mean, all seriousness, it is an incredible show, and though they have adventures and go through mystical, well, not mystical, but science fictional, though they go through all these weird, strange things, there's still a really serious, topical side to the show. And I'm pretty sure, from what I've seen, I haven't seen full episodes of the new parts, of the newer things, but from what I've seen, they get sort of silly, but hopefully with the silliness they keep the message, so that it's sort of a duality of being entertained, which you still are in this early stage of the show, 63, 64, you're still being entertained by it, and now the silliness and all this other stuff, you're being entertained by it, but you're also being educated, which is a great sort of coupling of entertainment and education, and it's indispensable. I mean, it's a great achievement if you can do it, which I believe these guys, the people that created Doctor Who, have been able to do. So, good job, Doctor Who. Next episode is The Ordeal, which is where the group, led by General Doctor Who, General Doctor, and the sort of fellowship of Thals, if you will, goes through the mountain and through the swamp to get to the city. So, in an analogy, it's sort of Lord of the Rings meets The Wizard of Oz, where Ian and the Doctor are sort of Gandalf. And let's see, who would it be? Well, Barbara and Susan would be Dorothy. I don't really know who would be Toto. Uh, Actually, Barbara would probably be Toto. Yeah, I'm thinking Barbara would be Toto. Yeah. And this weird, messed up analogy. Who do you think would be Toto? I'm thinking Barbara, but like I said, Barbara. But comment down below on what you think about this analogy. If you think it sucks, if you think it's crap. If you don't think it's crap, if you think it actually makes sense, which I actually kind of don't really think it makes too ultimate sense, but still. There's a great show. Next up, The Ordeal, which I'm quite sure is going to be, let's see, well, there's The Ordeal and The Rescue, which is all that's left. I'm guessing The Ordeal is going to be the sort of them going through, them being able to go around the swamp, since they have to go around the swamp, so through the swamp. Actually, it's going to be either them going around the swamp or through the swamp. And either way is probably going to be dangerous. And they're going to be either on time or late to be grouping up with the Doctor and his half of the group. And it's going to come down to a confrontation between the Daleks and the Thal / human group. And it's going to be a huge confrontation or ordeal between them. And there's going to be threat of nuclear war. Not really war, but I mean another neutron bomb being dropped. And with the name of a rescue, someone's going to be captured. I'm guessing probably the Doctor. Either the Doctor or Susan are going to be captured. And that's probably going to be after they stop the neutron bomb from being dropped. Or from being sent off. And the rescue, they're going to rescue it, get the couple in. Or the ink. The liquid link. And they're going to go off to some other thing, I don't know. But they're going to make their way to the TARDIS and go off. And there's going to be a scene between the Thal and the crew about some sort of speech or some small talk, at least, at the end of the episode before they go on. And something's going to happen which makes it so that Barbara and Ian aren't actually brought to their original time, 1963, which is now turned into 1964. But yeah, I don't think they're going to actually be able to be brought back, at least now. Well, since apparently they're 2 seasons, it's going to be quite a while before they're brought back to their own time. And I think but yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing, the ordeal. So, this has gone on way too long, but yeah. Alright. Till next time. And I always have something that I think of right after I quit, but so if I'm staring like this, I'm trying to think of what I would have said, or what I should have said. That would have been, oh, that's great. But yeah, since it's almost 15 minutes long, so this is almost 15 minutes long, being the longest thing so far, I will say bye and quit it before it becomes incredibly overly long. So, till next time.